So then, there we have it. Rally Sweden 2025 is done and dusted. Let's have a bit of a talk through the winners, the losers, and the stories across the different classes as we head out of Umeå and have a little bit of a break until the Safari Rally. And firstly, what a drive by everybody in the top four on the event. Elfyn Evans, a deserved winner. A second win in 3 events now, right? And a championship lead of... it's weird to think. He's got a championship lead of 28 points over Seb Ogier. Of 30 points over third place Karol Rivera. And even more over Neville or Oyt Tanak. It's what, Toyota 1, 2, 3 in the driver standings, and they've got almost double Hyundai's points in the manufacturer standings as well. But by talking about Evans, by talking about Neville, by talking about Tanak, I've glossed over the driver in second place, who I think it's been his best rally. Takamoto Katsuta, 3.8 seconds off the win in the end. I was waking up this morning thinking, am I about to have to remember which year it was that Kojiro Shizuka won? Or how many rallies there were between that triumph in, I think it's the Ivory Coast, and this one. For a second year in a row, he's been battling for the win in Sweden. He's great on these faster, looser rallies. We've seen it in Finland, where he picked up a podium. He's also good on home soil, with Jyväskylä and Toyota City being both, to some degree, home rallies for him. But he's always been good in the snow. I remember, did he win in WRC 2 when he was the Tory Mackinnon Racing program with the Fiesta R5? I remember he was certainly really good in that. It shows that on his day, he has it, and you could look at it throughout the service park. If you listen to the stage end interviews today, any of them who have been full-time in the WRC were all congratulating Taka. He's wonderful. It's been a great battle throughout that top 4. 16.8 separating. I think they only went into today less than 10 seconds apart. Similarly, going into Saturday, so tightly packed together. It was great. It was really well done by him. Really well done by Elfyn Evans to get the win, especially over somebody who was performing as well as Katsuta was in the event. Which then begs this question, is it Elfyn Evans' year? He's got nearly a round in hand over the next full-timer. In fact, he's got the rally win in hand over second place after 2 rounds. He was great on the Monte. He ended last season great in Japan. If you've been around this channel for a while, you know about my point system calculators. Under, I think, the 2010-2003 WRC point systems, Elfyn Evans would have been the champion last year. He's dependable, he's reliable, he is lightning fast, and he's found the confidence again. I would argue for the first time in the Rally 1 era. Yeah, he was alright in 22. 23 and 24 he was okay. But this is an Elfyn Evans we haven't seen maybe since he was battling for the first time for the title in 2020 in Monza. I mean, Karol Rivera was so out of form. He's been out of form in the Monte as well. The first day he was saying he was struggling with finding pace. And he seemed to have found it over the course of Saturday and then today. But at the end of Friday, he was 25.5 seconds off the lead. And at the end of the event, he's 32.8. The two-time champion is good. I mean, as is anybody else in this competition. But Evans is the one who's got the form at the moment. He's the one with the form book. He was second place at the Monty. Like I said, he won Japan. He's won here in Sweden. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a bit like Formula 1 does. A number 33 on the top step at the end of the season. WRC 2, and unsurprisingly, it was the story of Oliver Solberg. It's his third win for Rally Sweden for him, and I think, is it the third time in a row that he's won it with Elliot Edmondson alongside as well? Ever since coming back down to WRC 2 after his triumph in the WRC, he's won the class. He's been in great form. He did really, really well on the stages against Rupa Koronen, who was second place, meaning there were two Toyotas at the podium. 42.5 seconds a gap, with Mika Heikkila in third place. In fact, I think the rest of the top six were Skodas, because you have Lauri Una, Isaac Rierson, and Foes Aldevar. They all did really well, but Solberg was clash the field again. I think we were a bit worried after the Monty, where he span on the very first stage. Seemed like a bit of a stranger, though. Those final results were hampered by the fact he got the penalty for drifting around the hairpin on the Grand Prix circuit. He did good. And this is good, positive momentum for the rest of the season. Someone else who did good was Romain Jurgensen, who got 7th place, quite dependable for the Fiesta. Likewise, Pontus Tiedemann was inside the top 10. We haven't seen him so much on the stages. But when we get down to Pontus Tiedemann, we're talking about 5 minutes gap to the class leader and the class winner. So yeah, could be Solberg's year, in the same way that it could be Evans's. Now we need to talk about JWRC and WRC3 in two separate classes, because there are some people who are entered in for WRC3 that aren't in JWRC, because, for example, they're in the Clios. There are also some people, likewise, who are entered in JWRC who aren't entered in WRC3. Either way, the win is the same. Taylor Gill takes a win for the Rally Star program. Really well done. And quite comfortably as well. In WRC3, over Matteo Fontana, it was 1 minute 13.1. With Ali Turkan running out the podium, 131.1 back. The top 5 was rounded out by Takumi Matsushita, one of the Toyota juniors in the Clio. And then Kerem Kazaz in 5th place, 2 minutes 48.3 off of the winning time. Which is quite a nice balanced field. Matteo Chatillon, who has been competitive and I think has the Alpine livery, the Alpine Racing livery on the Clio, had to super rally and was 12 minutes 10 off of the winning time. Likewise, reigning WRC3 champion Diego Dominguez has had a rotten time so far this season. 13th in WRC3 this time around. However, JWRC, with its slightly different orders, was equally as impressive. Yes, Taylor Gill won JWRC, but it was only by 22.8 seconds compared to the minute 10 he had in WRC3. Second place was Mille Johansson, who lost heaps of time by going off the road, I think into a snowbank early on in the event. Was it on Bach 2, I think? And then just posted second fastest and fastest times. Oh no, sorry, I was wrong. It's Coxelle won on Saturday. Johansson went off and then dropped down 11 places in the overall order. We managed to claw it back to being 19th overall at the end of the event. I don't think that Johansson failed to win a stage. Apart from, I think, the power stage on the way to the end of the event. I think overnight the gap was a minute and Johansson managed to get it down to 23 seconds. Podium in JWRC is rounded out by Irish junior Eamon Kelly, who was ahead of Ali Turkan by 9 seconds. Then Turkan and Kazaz 4th and 5th. Then lastly, by no means leastly however, we have the winner of the Beyond Rally Women's Driver Development Programme announced. For those of you who were familiar with it but weren't too clued up about it, Beyond Rally was the idea of funding the pathway for the next female rally star. It was a group of, I want to say 1.5 dozen, that then was whittled down to 3 who did the CER last year. Then they couldn't decide between Claire Sherdborn and Licia Baudet as to who would get the fully funded JWRC ride this season. So they funded them for this one and then made a decision. Claire Sherdborn will be the WRC's nominee, and we'll see out the rest of the JWRC season with a fully funded ride. Did really well there and went through hardships. Like, the thing was, in the CER, both of them encountered so many hardships. But if you look at the final standings, Schönborn was 3 minutes clear of Baudet. Both amazing performers, both amazing competitors. But when there's only one seat, I would say, yeah, Schönborn, I think, ended up outperforming on pace in both events. So it makes sense for her to have been awarded with it. My personal opinion is it would have been nice that all three, so also Suvi Ylakainen, would also pick up a fully funded ride, a bit like they did with Rally Star. It was 3 people that were picked for Rally Star. But we can't have everything our own way. Especially with the WRC is also choosing to pay for teams to run junior drivers in extra cars. But anyways, those are my thoughts and feelings. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I hope to see you again soon for more. Bye for now.